Welcome to the Elevator Game with Catgirls. And also, Happy New Year, everyone. It is 11:51 p.m. as of December 31st right now, so I'm 9 minutes away from it being January 1st, 2020 New Game Plus 1. So, exciting times, sort of. There's no New Year's revelation on my end. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and it's going to feel like December will just re-emerge in like a year will go by really fast for me. I don't know, time kind of flies by when you sort of do YouTube, I guess. And unless you're running with a lot of life problems, everything for me is neutral. It's going okay, no complaints, nothing great, but nothing bad. So I'm just sitting here being like, time flies by, you wake up, I drink some coffee, I eat something random, maybe relax, maybe do YouTube, maybe do some editing, and then as soon as I'm done, I'll look at the time and be like, why the fuck is it bedtime already? And rinse and repeat. For days, for months, for weeks, for years. And that's my life. For better or for worse. So I just say, everything's neutral, everything will stay the same. All that'll change is if I become, more famous as 2020 New Game Plus 2 comes around. It just means I'll have more capability and power to help other people, but we'll see how things go and how channel growth goes. Right now, the sub boost from all the changed video popularity and recommendations from YouTube is going down. It's balancing out. The curve is balancing out. But the views are stabilizing in a way that's very nice. I would report it's like from Social Blades telling me like 50k views roughly every day. That is good. I cannot complain about that because I remember not only just a few months ago, I was just being like, man, I gotta stay over the 10k per day mark. I can't go down that mark. And now I'm at 50k, so I mean, my next milestone is like, I gotta get 100k balanced, views every single day. Then, if I hit that milestone, or when I hit that milestone, then I'll be able to help more people. Because then you get more YouTube monies, and I'll be able to help donate and, do what everyone else does, like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier. Donate to charities. Because I don't need the money, I'm a minimalist. Either way, that's enough ranting. 2 minutes of ranting. Let's get into the game. The Elevator Game with Catgirls. Like, seriously, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, with Catgirls, you're saying? Neco, what's this about Catgirls? But it is a horror game. The main menu should be pretty apparent. But it also looked like it had interesting art, besides the fact of Catgirls. And everyone likes Catgirls. It's a cold winter night. Oh yeah, it's a visual novel too, I think. Which is something I don't typically play, but it's Catgirls and horror. Snow started to fall a couple of hours ago, so the cityscape is littered with a layer of white fluff. It crunches under our feet as we walk down the street. Ta-da! We're here. Karen. It's like we're in a newspaper world. I look up to inspect the tall building before us. It's past midnight, so it's to be expected that most people living here should be asleep by now. Naturally, that also explains why barely any of the windows show illumination coming from the inside. Considering that what we're here for, it only adds to the creepiness of the situation. I've never been a fan of dark places, and that didn't change even when I got my feline features. You'd think that being able to see so much more clearly in the dark would make darkness less scary, wouldn't you? Trouble is, I hear so many more little sounds than I couldn't make out before, too. And since I'm not sure what all them are, the dark's every bit as creepy as it was before. And maybe even more so. So we are Asahi? Man, how do I pronounce that? Wait, let me think about this. Alright, I checked it up of how to pronounce. It is Asahi, so I was right, thank God. Oh, their names are on the left in the middle. Okay, it's kind of strange. I'm guessing there's going to be some situations where there's many lines of conversation. Finally, a response. I thought you were starting to give me the silent treatment again. So you got the goth cat girl and the, I guess, Disney princess. Likely not reminiscent of Disney princess, but you know what I mean, but just by the... Actually, more Barbie. Barbie pink. That's like Barbie pink, not Disney. Barbie. That makes more sense. It's a fault of mine, and one I'm not too proud of. I tend to get lost in my head, my own head sometimes. Well, quite often, really. Thankfully, Karen is fairly used to it by now. The pink one's probably the more psychotic one, probably. I swear, Karen, of all the buildings in the city, you just had to choose one, which seems super creepy. This has to be the sole residential building in the whole office district. Oh, but you know, it couldn't have been just any building. This one is perfect. And by perfect, you mean meeting the conditions and being less than 10 miles away from our homes? Or are you enjoying our walk in the snow together so much so that you'd like to prowl around aimlessly for another hour? Because I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to feel the cold. Was that your plan? For me to need you to warm me up afterwards? You could have said something. Damn, things getting heating up really fast. I just stare at her, not really sure what to say. There's no winning with Karen when she gets all sly like this. As much as I hate to admit it, it's one of the things I actually like about her. Yeah, people like witty people. Why did I sign up for this again? Because you love me. Ah yes, thank you for reminding me of that questionable fact. Say, do you get the feeling like someone is manipulating someone else for their advantage over here? Is that... Was she breaking the fourth wall right then? She was kind of looking at me. No, just me? Oh, come on, don't be like that. You know I'm happy you decided to come with me. I'll make it up to you, I promise. I stare at her for a moment longer before I sigh. I really can't argue with her, not when she's looking at me like that. I had a silent crush on this girl for the longest time, and never expected to one day find out that the attraction was mutual. The fact that we managed to actually get together still feels so unreal sometimes. If it weren't for the fact that the change affected her too, it would have never come to this. As much as I disliked it in the beginning, it made me feel like an outcast among my former peers after all. Our shared experience allowed me to be there for her when she needed it most. It's a memory I'm always going to cherish, of that I'm sure. I breathe warmly on my hands, rub them together, and then jam them deep in my pockets. You're supposed to jam them into her pockets, or hold her hands and, you know, be all fancy romantic. It's not much, but hopefully it'll help keep some feeling in my fingertips. It's enough to let me focus on things in the here and now, at least, rather than just on how cold it is. I said it before and I'll say it again, you get provoked way too easily. You're doing all this because of the bet with Morgan, aren't you? Oh sure, that's one of the reasons. But that's not the only one, I'm doing it because it's fun. Karen, you've seen the forums, not a single person out there ever said it was a good idea. Ah yes, all those fairy tale stories, quite tragic really. Come on, you're not about to tell me you honestly believe those. So you mean that you don't? Hearing people either outside my room or my upstairs neighbors being idiots and making tapping noises. And it's, you know, it's midnight. It's now New Year's, 12:01 a.m. Seriously, girl, we live in the real world. Spooky, scary skeletons don't just pop out of nowhere because someone decided to be an idiot and press some buttons a certain way. I can't believe you, of all people, are still saying that strange, unexplained things don't happen. I mean, you did look in the mirror this morning, right? This is this and that is that. So you don't believe this will actually work. Remind me why we're here again? We're here to prove a point, namely that Morgan can suck it. Sigh. I also can't believe I let you drag me into this. Chill, Asahi. We suffer the cold for a while longer, nothing happens, and then Morgan owes me $50. $50 that will treat us to a nice dinner together. And $25 between the two isn't really much of a nice dinner, but I guess it depends on where you're at. Canadian? No, not really. You can go to like some family restaurant and get like a steak. Or the most expensive places like fucking Italian restaurants, they charge you like $30 for a fucking plate of spaghetti. Like seriously. Don't get me started on Italian restaurants in here. Fucking overpriced fucking Jesus Christ. I bet they don't even use real Parmigiano Reggiano. Probably not. I suppose a dinner with you is a pretty good incentive. See, I knew you'd come around. That being said, wish me luck and all that jazz. I'll be right back. Hey, someone else that says jazz. Karen. Well, I'm the one who should be getting cold feet here, not you. Just, you remember all the rules, right? Stay safe, okay? Asa-chan, be realistic about this. What's an elevator gonna do? Bite me? Ah, shit, that's gonna... She just red flagged herself. Elevator doors are probably gonna like close shut, and then the elevator will go up and down and fucking clamp on her in a way that her girlfriend Asahi never could. She'll get like the ultra clamp. It actually made me think of Futurama, the clamp. God damn it. Oh, I miss Futurama. You could always get stuck. That's a realistic possibility, if anything. I'm sure you'll figure it out if I do. Now be sure to stay away from the building since we'd be breaking those majestic rules. Oh, she really doesn't care about the rules. And this is a horror game. She's red flagging herself. If she at least realized she's in a horror game, she probably would be a little bit more apprehensive maybe. But she's like, rules, schmools. The elevator game was like, there's a lot of rules. Like, the old lady, like, I can't remember the exact rules. It's like, if a person gets on the elevator, it's like an old lady, and she'll talk to you and you're not allowed to fucking respond or something like that. Or you're supposed to respond a very specific way. And if you break any rules, you die and get dragged to hell or something like that. It's just like very specific. Very fucking specific. And it takes hours to finish. But that's, you know, that's how it goes. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. Oh, she's fucked. Kiss that ass goodbye. I stare as Karen approaches the building entrance, presses one of the intercom buttons, and moments later pushes the door open. How does she convince people to trust her so quickly, to let her into the building like that? She probably goes, meow, wink wink. She's gone from my sight before I know it, a faint click as the door closes behind her. There's a feeling of an unease pooling in my stomach. All of this being a bad idea, probably the worst we've had yet, just screams in my head. I'm so going to give Morgan a piece of my own mind once all this is over. Well, I mean... no. It's not like I can really do much about it now. However, if I were to go after my girlfriend, saying I've suddenly changed my mind, it would undoubtedly make her angry. I mean, just entice her with some sexy times. Come on, that should always work. Just be like, can we just go home? Sexy times. She probably would never listen. It sounds like her personality would be one to not listen, but you gotta try to at least entice them. Hell, we snuck out of our house through the window without our parents knowing just to go through with all of this. If I had a problem with the whole crazy idea, I should have said something from way earlier. It's too late now. December 10th on the phone, huh? Whoa, they got 6G? We haven't gone through the fucking 5G. How do they have 6G? Our 5G still turns frogs gay. We still have yet to master the 5G arts, where the 5G doesn't make the frogs gay, let alone they have 6G, which, who knows what it does, maybe it makes the crocodiles gay. Anyways, I wrap my fingers around my phone and pull it from my pocket. As I do so, I see the screen shows 13 a.m. or 12:13 a.m. I don't like using the 24-hour clock thing. It took us around an hour to walk here, and while I dreaded us even being here in the first place, I'm also not looking forward to walking all the way back, especially when it's bound to get colder as the night goes on. Perhaps we could use those $50 to get a ride home instead of a meal. Yeah, if things only worked that way. Okay, I mean... that sounded, what's the word I'm looking for? Not red flag, but... it's like, that's future speak. Like she's talking past tense. Or at least it could be interpreted as past tense. With another sigh, I turn away and start to walk towards a small park located in the middle of the godforsaken district. I don't know why part of it is a playground. There can't be many kids here in the day, can there? But it is, and there's a slide as well as a pair of swings. I'll most likely freeze my ass off if I sit on one, though that would let me lift my feet off the ground for a bit, the cold, snowy ground. I decide to sit down on the nearest one. And just like that, the uneasy feeling of having entered a liminal space hits me, making the hairs at the back of my neck stand up. One's mind usually associates playgrounds with children, laughter, movement, and life in general. It's what they're designed for, after all. So when you get to experience the total opposite of that, when you find yourself sitting in an empty, childless playground in the middle of the night, it doesn't feel right. And with the, was it liminal, they said? It's the same thing with people saying... What was it? There's a video I watched not too long ago with Half-Life 2 maps and people really feeling the exact same thing with Half-Life source maps. Because a lot of source maps have ambience of, bustling cars, sirens, the ambient noises of people talking. But if you're all alone in a multiplayer map and it's just a sandbox, a map, a town designed for multiplayer, but you're all alone there, a lot of source maps give you the feeling of just what they're talking about here. Which is kind of an interesting subject to talk about, or at least research a bit. Your mind associates it with something being off, something being wrong. Why are you here, Asahi, in a place you shouldn't be? I'd go after her. Absent-mindedly, my gaze wanders. Something at the other side of the street catches my attention. It's a vending machine. I happen to have a bit of change with me, and the idea of getting something hot to drink is suddenly a very alluring temptation. It would undoubtedly make the waiting out in this cold less unpleasant. Or cold less pleasant. Why does she just go in the building? If she's saying she's cold and she's waiting for her friend to come back, which could take hours, because I swear to God the elevator game takes hours to finish. I swear to God, unless I'm wrong. Then why is she waiting outside to begin with? She's cold, and you're saying Karen is just going to be like, yeah, wait in the cold for me. It would make more sense if it would be like, wait inside in the warm building. I don't know. You'd undoubtedly make the waiting out in the cold less unpleasant. Unless it's like the rules say you're not allowed to have someone in the same building as you. I can't remember. That might be one of the rules. Who knows? Please say it's a machine that has hot drinks as well as cold ones. It's like only been 1 minute. With my mind made up, I got back on my feet, checking the time more out of habit than actual curiosity again. Only a minute's passed since Karen disappeared into the building, and I'm both surprised and not really. The feeling of time passing slower than usual is normal when you obsessively wait for something, even more so when said waiting is physically uncomfortable. I make my way towards the vending machine without a second thought. To my relief, its glowing buttons do indeed hold the promise of a hot drink. Coffee. Nothing sounds better than a hot can of coffee right now. Wait, hot can? Hot can? Hot can. How the fuck do you get cans of coffee that's hot? Is there machines that literally have, like, room temperatured cans that just stay warmed? In a can? Wouldn't the can be hot because it's metal? I'm flabbergasted by that right now. I'm thinking of a hot drink from a vending machine. I would think it typically like paper or something else. A hot can. If I've ever seen coffee in a can, it's always cold. Like stuff you see in a grocery store in the refrigerator aisle. Is there hot cans of coffee? But that would burn your hand. Oh man, this is really tripping me. I don't know, man. Maybe in different areas of the world. Not only will it help me survive the cold, it's also bound to give me an energy boost, one I could use for both waiting and the upcoming inevitable journey all the way back home. I don't know why you'd go for cocoa. Or cacao. It costs a little more than I expected, and I won't have enough to get a second can, so there goes the idea of treating Karen to a nice warming drink for the walk home. Oh well, she'll survive, and it is her fault that we'll be walking back through the snow. The can feels warm and heavenly in my hands. I wrap my hands around it, enjoying a few moments of bliss as the heat warms my fingers. Carefully, I press the edge of the pull tab up with a nail so I can get my finger underneath, and then pull it open with a sharp hiss. I'm always really careful with how I open cans after all. Carelessly breaking a nail once, the memory of that still makes me shudder. I shiver trying to fight down the sudden memory of Karen tortuously dragging her nails against the blackboard in my class, a wicked smile painting her lips as she held my gaze. I wish I could somehow control these unwanted thoughts sometimes. Alas, my brain likes to torture me instead. That's why it's called douchebag brain. The brain is a douchebag. The brain is also the smartest brain. The best. Like, what was it? The brain is the most important organ in the human body, said the brain. Fucking douchebag, self-absorbed organ. The smell of the beverage reaches my nose. Getting these little burpy hiccups. The smells of the beverage reaches my nose, grounding me back to reality. I take a small sip, instantly happy with the taste. Being able to drink anything warm feels like a godsend right now. Satisfied, at least momentarily, I make my way back to the playground, intending to sit back at the spot I took up before. Gotta hope that your ass warmed up the seat and it hasn't gotten back to being cold. I reach the swing and settle back down. As I glance up again at the building Karen slipped into a minute ago, the lights are off. My blood suddenly runs cold. A sense of sudden panic swarms my mind as I try to make sense of what I'm seeing. A building that's dead to the world, all pitch black, with none of its lights shining through the windows anymore. Could all the residents have gone to sleep in the meantime? Oh, the lobby wouldn't have the lights turned off too. That's close to impossible, and I know it. A power outage, maybe. I quickly turn around and look at the other buildings around me. All of those seem the same as when we arrived, with a bright window still present here and there, so surely that can't be it. If the power was cut off, it would affect the whole street, wouldn't it? Or even several streets. Almost spilling my drink, I hastily reach for the phone in my pocket. Huh? I blink, then close my eyes shut for a moment, certain that something is wrong with my eyesight. The time couldn't have just gone backwards. Huh. A small sense of relief floods me as I quickly open my eyes. It must have been a trick of the light before, or perhaps there was a glitch with my phone's display. Perhaps there's something wrong with me. Remembering what made me reach for my phone in the first place, I raise my head to look at the building before me once more, only see that it's in its previous state. The lights are back on, as if they were never gone to begin with. The unease in my stomach stays. Though I know what I saw, I'm pretty sure I couldn't have just imagined it. It's been 5 minutes since Karen went into the building. Is that enough to ride through a bunch of floors? Would she be mad if I called her so soon? Dwelling on it suddenly feels stupid. I open the calls app on my phone, and there's her name at the top of the history. She'd called me just a few hours ago to confirm our plans for tonight. Admittedly, her name is also there for the call before that, and the one before that. And okay, I chat to her a lot, so one more call now can't hurt, right? I hit the redial button. I should have expected the call wouldn't connect if she's inside the elevator. There probably isn't any reception in there, is there? So what option does that leave me with? Going in after her, waiting for another 5 minutes? It depends on the rules, honestly. She should know the rules. She implied that she read the rules and understands, or at least knows that there's a lot of rules and should have read them, unlike Karen. I stare at the building before me intently, afraid to avert my eyes anymore. It's like I'm hopeful my gaze, my constant observation alone will make the lights stay. I'm scared of the situation repeating itself. Sometime later, I realize I've spent so long just holding my can and fretting about Karen that my drink has gone from a nice hot drink to, well, undrinkable. Some drinks are not meant to be just kind of warm, and this is one of them. At least it kept my hands from freezing, I guess. Yeah, it's like me and my coffee. I have to have it on in a heat platter? A heat stand? I don't know what the fuck I'd call it. A cup warmer. 10 minutes pass. I feel only more cold and helpless. Why can't Karen just come out of the building now as if nothing has happened and laugh at me for worrying too much? She's taking a long time to just get in the fucking building. Surprisingly, the call does go through this time. Hello? What I'd be wondering is if calling her made her fail the test or if she already failed the test. Getting help from another person probably would go against the rules. I'm not prepared for what I hear. A woman laughing at the other end. There's something about it that disturbs me to the very core. It's definitely not Karen's voice. Or is it? All of a sudden, realization hits me. Morgan, the bet, everything. Now this. None of it could possibly be real. All of this has to be a prank arranged by my classmates. And whether Karen's in on it... She wouldn't do this to me, would she? The image of her wickedly smiling, amused face persistently pops up in my mind again. Confusion turns into anger. Before I know it, I'm on my feet, already marching to the building, determination boiling inside of me. There's an obstacle before I can get in, though. As I obviously don't have a key to the entrance door, what kind of excuse would be plausible at this sort of hour? I stab at the button that I think Karen pressed and then almost immediately regret it. What if I press the wrong button? What if I press the right one and sound stupid when the other person asks who's there? What if, to my surprise, there's a click from the intercom and then a buzz as I'm let in without a single word being spoken. So Karen didn't have to sweet talk anyone. I try not to dwell on the unexpected invitation as I shrug it all off on luck. As soon as the doors close behind me, it occurs to me just how dark the inside of the building is. I know it's in the middle of the night, but I'm not sure whether such a complete lack of light is normal. People live here, after all. There should be some signs of life. Buildings usually have at least a few lights on inside, don't they? It's unsettling, though. It doesn't make me as nervous as it used to. I know that my vision is going to adjust to the darkness in a moment, letting me navigate the place easily. Should it be faster because she has cat vision? Shouldn't it not even be a problem? Like, it would be if she was human, but isn't she a cat too? Or cat girl? Like, she was just talking about how her vision is... She can see in the dark much easier now as she's a cat girl, but then all of a sudden she's like, talking as if she's a human and saying her eyes have to slowly adjust like a human would? Wouldn't a cat's adjustment to darkness be, like, pretty much rapid? I'm not even sure how fast cats can see in the dark if it is rapid, you know, to nocturnal animals or other animals. I'd assume it's pretty goddamn rapid compared to a human. Oh wait. I'm able to see a lot better in the dark unless she brings it up again. I don't know why she'd need to adjust, though. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't work instantly. As I take a first few hesitant steps into the building, the lights flicker on with a harsh buzz. Of course I'm being such an idiot. There are automatic lights in here. They come on when people move. Totally ordinary. Not really. I mean, I guess it depends on the neighborhood if it's shitty or not. It's just that I've never been in this building before. It stands to reason that it feels unusually creepy to me, right? Especially if I think about why I'm currently here. All that considered, it feels longer for me to reach the end of the long hallway than it probably should. It's a dangerous time to let your mind wander into places nobody sane would want it wandering to. At least the building inside is noticeably warmer than the outdoors. I was saying that. It makes the whole situation slightly easier to bear. My hands and feet almost started to freeze off in the meantime. The next thing I know, I stand before the elevator door, rooted to the ground, with a sudden sensation of someone watching me. Hesitantly, I reach to press the elevator button, more panic exploding inside of me as the automated light picks that exact moment to cut out. My first instinct is to get out my phone, let it illuminate the sudden darkness of the corridor, and God knows what else is inhabiting it currently. There's nothing. Nothing that I'm able to see anyway. It's just the empty corridor, a row of closed doors along each side, seemingly the same as when I first entered it. There's nobody there. I don't feel any less on edge when I turn back in the other direction, bearing my back to all of that space again, pressing the elevator button as quickly as I can find it. A distant sound of machinery starting up pierces the unnerving silence, followed by a hum, which indicates that the elevator is in motion. It's clearly on a different floor, so I wait for it to descend. Taking a deep breath, I try to calm myself. It feels like an eternity for the thing to arrive. The doors finally slide apart with a slight scraping sound, and the small compartment finally opens up before me, completely empty. I'm not sure whether I should be surprised or not. A part of me hoped it wouldn't have come to this, while another already expected for things to turn out this way. At this point, I decide to do the only sensible thing I can think of doing. Get into the elevator, ascend to the highest floor, then make my way down the stairs, on the hope of stumbling upon Karen, possibly hiding from me on one of the floors. If only things turned out that easy. Aw man, it doesn't even get into the grittiness and any blood and gushy gore, and no happy ending with Catgirls making up, and project made for Winter VN Jam. It's only a demo, be sure to follow. Yes. I was hoping at least for something impactful at the end. Like something like The Ring, where, the elevator door opens and then suddenly there's there's like maybe Karen's corpse, but then it's just a plot twist, and then you play the full game, and it's either you as the developer can be like, boom, like shock, Karen's corpse, but then you play the full game, and then possibly just twist and be like, she was just hallucinating for a quick second and it's not real, or change your mind and be like, no, that's her body. You can just change it and just be like, she rubs her eyes and then the body is no longer there, or it was there and it's no longer there, or it's just hallucination. Something impactful to draw the player in, but ending it like right then and there after reading all of that, it just feels like it ended prematurely. Of course, it's a jam, so there's limited time, but usually that's one thing I'll complain about, is not leaving an impactful finale, whether in an early access form or, demo. You want to draw the player in. So, for a visual novel, or any horror game rather, I would say it's very important to have something impactful that draws you in, or something that intrigues you. And the only thing that's intriguing about this is, of course, Catgirls, which is it throws a weird loop into the genre. It's like a horror game plus elevator game, both kind of synonymous with each other, and then, oh, bam, Catgirls. Okay, but you need something gameplay-wise that is also, the bait and hook. And, I don't know, I would imagine just something like a dead body or blood leaking from the elevator, just anything to be, oh shit, what happened? Or oh shit, was that real? Oh shit, was that her body? Ah shit. And then you'd be like, oh, I gotta find out what happens next. But in this, it's just like, well, yeah, she's going in the elevator as expected. And that's it. Nothing happens. There's no impact, there's no climax, it's building up, and then it ends. It's kind of like being a one-pump man, It's disappointment. It's premature ejaculation. I don't know why I had to get in that territory, but you guys should know what I mean. It's just something, as it's building up tension, it has to hit that nice sweet spot, and then you stop. But it was building up and then didn't hit that sweet spot. A lot of people need to understand you gotta hit that sweet spot at least once. But there wasn't. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. Maybe look forward to the full game. We'll see how it goes, and if they increase the tension and climactic moments in the game, who knows? In the full game, who knows what they're going to do, or how long the full game will be in contrast to the demo's length. Like maybe this is 30% of the game, maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 50%, don't know. But either way, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, hit that subscribe button, become a subscriber. My mouth is fucking dry as fuck now, and I don't have any coffee, and until the next time.